The next thing is to pass these sections onto the sheet view, but this can be very confusing because there are a lot of different settings you can make. Now I'm going to take you in two directions here. I want to copy the front section and the top section to the sheet view. And I want to take the front section in plain black and white with no color, but I'm going to take the top section to the sheet view in a color, actually two colors, because the settings for both are quite different, and it's important that you understand the differences. Now just keep in mind that there are a lot of settings here and a lot of combinations of settings, and it can get awfully tricky sometimes to get exactly the effect that you want. So let's start with the front section here, and it's highlighted. You should see the green arrow pointing away from you because we're looking at the section plane. This will be a black and white reference in the sheet model, and I need to make sure that my colors are correct. So I'm going to open View Attributes in the front view, and I'm going to open them permanently because I have several settings to make. First one is the display style, and this I need hidden line, and I need clip volume on. Otherwise I won't see the actual section at all. And constructions can be on or off. It doesn't really matter because the clip boundary won't display in the sheet model. Now let's look at the color settings. I'm going to go down to the clip volume settings here, and you'll see that two of these items are highlighted. First is the forward part of the section, and the second is the cut part of the section. Back and outside are not visible at the moment, but they could be turned on simply by clicking on the display icon. These are settings for different parts of this model. And here you can set colors, line styles, display types, etc., etc. Let me explain what they actually are. Start with cut, which is the obvious thing. We have a section here which is cutting through this bushing. So this cut item relates to the cut surfaces of the bushing. That makes sense. The forward one is material which is going in the Z direction of the view away from us. So it's material which has not been cut, but which is visible in the section. Back is material, again, in the Z direction of the view, but it's material which is coming out towards us on your side of the section. Now that's off because we don't want to see that. And outside is any elements which are outside the volume of the section boundary. And in this case, we have none because all we have is just the bushing. But we might want to provide information and color for elements in addition to just this section. Again, we have none, so that's off. Now we make settings for these different materials. Let's start with cut. So I'm going to go across and click on the icon at the end, which is the Open Display Style dialog. So click on that. And this opens up the settings boxes for the specific surfaces. Cut is pre-selected for us because we selected that on the previous screen. Display, I need visible edges, which is already on. That's good. Leave that on. But just look at the other settings which you could choose. Wireframe, filled visible edges, and shaded. We'll look at those later when we look at color. Visible edges should be on. Everything else is fine. Come down to element. This is my element color for the cut material. Now it's black and white right now, and you can do one of two things. You can turn color off if you want, and it would revert to the current active color. Or we can set a color, and I've set 0 as a color here. You do the same. Style doesn't really matter much. That's the current style is 0, continuous. Weight, I've made 1. Your settings may already be this way, but just make sure that they are. If they happen to have a color on them, take out the color at this point. So that's done. Move down now to edge settings, and hidden lines should be on. And again, line type 2, and same weight as the visible edges. So that's all set. Move on now to the forward material. Click on that. And make exactly the same settings. Visible edges, no color, black and white, and again, hidden edges with the same settings. When all that's done, you can dismiss that box, and we can even dismiss the View Attributes box too. Okay, so far so good. Now we're back to the model. Now take a close look at the front view again, and we'll see the same problem that we had with the previous section generating method, and that's where we see lines that should not be there. And again, there's a line here, and a line there, which are those tangent lines. We do see correct hidden lines here and here, which is just fine. This line across here is not really a line at all. It's actually the section for the top view, so ignore that. So this view now we can take down to the sheet view, and I need a saved view. We'll call this front section, and we data point in the front view to select that view. Leave this on the screen. Let's go wandering off to a sheet view. I've got one already made. It came from that standard model that we were using. Here's my sheet view. Bring this section in, so we'll drag it over. Interactive, which automatically gets me the correct logical name. Everything else is fine. Here comes my front view as a section. Now let's do what we did before. Let's open up my references box. We'll change dynamic to cached and make sure that we have smooth edges on. That's just fine. Okay. And we come back to our front view and we see the correct display. These lines here, and here should be solid because that's the cut edges of those two slots. And we're seeing now correct hidden lines for this section. So this is a better method than the previous one. And of course, you notice that our tangent lines have also disappeared. Plus, of course, this method allows you to place sections very quickly and change the location of the section plane and display more of the object or not. So that works out very well. So in the next video, we'll look at colorizing a section. But in the meantime, make sure you have this section available in a sheet view and then move on to the next video.